Okay, just before we start this video, I just want to spring something on you guys. So, the Mrwhosetheboss gold play button. I wasn't sure whether to make a dedicated YouTube video or just an Instagram post, but here we are, slipping it into the beginning of a Q&A.
Alright, so the box is quite a bit lighter than I was expecting. The plaque just slides out, and it is a lot bigger than the 100k one we already have. And nothing more to say apart from it is beautiful, and of course means a lot more than just its appearance alone. Now, it also comes with this little note, which you can pause the video and read if you feel like it, but now let's get on to the Q&A.
Alright guys, so the Q&A. You guys on Twitter, you never fail to disappoint. Wait, what? No, you never seem to disappoint. Aaron, what advice can you give to some people like me who want to be a successful YouTuber like you? To which I would say two things. Give every single day 100% and continue to learn from those who are doing things well. The way that I kind of see YouTube and the world of work is, you can't determine when you're going to be lucky, but at least if you give every single day your complete all, your 100%, then when you do eventually get lucky, you can run with it. Why was Apple unable to bring an under-screen fingerprint sensor for the first time in the market whilst Vivo Nex made so? More than likely, it's not a case that Apple was unable to do it. I'm willing to bet they've been playing around with this stuff for years now behind the scenes. It'll be more a case that Apple has so much at stake here, and that they can't risk anything when it comes to user experience. So they'll only release a phone with this tech when they're sure it is not just fast and reliable, but secure.
Very quickly, I do want to give a shout out to LastPass, the sponsor of this video.
A boxing match between MKBHD and Unbox Therapy. Who would win and why? It's actually quite a tough one. I mean, Marquez, MKBHD, he is the taller of the two guys, he's got more of an arm reach, but then Lewis, Unbox Therapy, he's kind of crazy. He's got this crazy level of energy. Maybe he could just take that and go nuts on Marquez. Who knows? It's definitely something that I'd want to go and watch though. What do you think about this recent trend of car-branded phones like the Porsche design Mate RS, Lamborghini Find X? Personally, I think they're actually filling quite a nice niche. Before the inception of these car-branded phones, there was nothing for those people who wanted to spend more and get a better experience. Sure, you could always pay more for a phone, but with brands like Vertu, you'd actually end up getting worse specifications and worse features for more money. So car-branded phones like the Mate RS are creating a sort of superphone category, where at least you're getting an all-round better experience than you would with a flagship. What apps do you use when you wake up very first thing in the morning? So I used to have this problem, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will be able to relate, where you wake up first thing in the morning, you start checking your phone in bed, and before you know it, half an hour has gone, checking not just notifications, but then you start to scroll through feeds, and that's where it gets dangerous. So now what I do is I turn on airplane mode as soon as I'm about to sleep. And it's kind of a double-edged blade, because it means that you don't get disturbed through the night, so you can sleep better, but it also means that I don't disable airplane mode till I'm at my desk the next morning, when I'm basically ready to work. Okay, then we've got these 4 questions, which are quite closely related, so I'm going to try and knock them all out in one go. What do you think will be the upcoming trend in the smartphone market? What do you think the future of smartphone designs will be? Do you think phone designers have run out of ideas and smartphones have become stale? And after the era of bezel-less phones, what is the next big thing? What I would say is there is always going to be a next thing. Even if we don't know what we want yet, it is a company's job to keep creating something that is desirable. The ones that can do this will survive, and the ones that can't will not. As for what those technologies are going to be, it's a little bit harder to say, but we do have some up-and-coming things that are just around the bend. Yeah, we're talking flexible displays here, and also graphene smartphone batteries, which could completely change the game when it comes to not just efficiency, but also capacity. What do you think the next iPhone is going to be called? So this is the current running joke. Apple seems to have almost run themselves into a corner with their iPhone naming scheme because they've released in the same year a device called the iPhone 8 and a device called the iPhone 10. So calling the next iPhone the iPhone 9 seems unlikely. It really would confuse the hell out of people, so I'd imagine they'll either start using the Pro or the Plus monikers or go for a different name altogether, the iPhone Air or the new iPhone. What changes do you think will happen to the OnePlus 6T, and do you think that it is worth waiting for the 6T or to just buy the OnePlus 6 now? So if we look at OnePlus's past T devices, the OnePlus 3T, the OnePlus 5T, these are phones where the body itself has barely had any change at all to it. So more than likely the same will be true for the 6T. You won't have a borderless screen because that would need crazy stuff like pop-up cameras, which I really couldn't see OnePlus doing right now, and as there's no new chip for them to put in to bump up performance even more, I would predict that the focus of the OnePlus 6T will be on the camera. So if that is really important to you, then sure, wait a few months, you won't regret it. If it isn't, the 6 right now is fantastic value for money. Buying a mid-range phone every 2 years, or buying a flagship every 4 years. Between those two options, you'd be better served with a mid-range phone every 2 years. Something like Xiaomi's recent Mi A2 is fantastic value for money. If you could take one phone and change one feature about it, which phone would you choose and which element would you change? Pretty simple actually. Out of all phones available right now, I would take the body of the Oppo Find X and swap out the camera for the Pixel 2s. Is it hard to keep thinking and creating new content every day? Do you ever experience a burnout or a lack of motivation? So in the tech community, I'm kind of lucky because a lot of the creators are also my friends, but anyone who works on social media will tell you that it can be quite overwhelming because essentially you are 24 hours a day pitching yourself against the most creative and some of the most hardworking people on the planet. So you might have heard of a term called creator burnout, which is something I felt in the past, and it's just based off the idea that constantly pushing yourself to innovate without ever really switching off properly can get kind of exhausting, and that's what happens to a lot of YouTubers out there. Are you still using the Vivo Nex as your daily phone? Has anyone asked you in public about it? Yep, I might actually switch it out for Samsung's Note 9 when that comes out, but right now, the Nex is where we're at. And it's interesting you ask about the public, because this is a tech channel, and so when I do get recognized, a lot of the time the first question I get asked is, what phone am I using? And the Vivo Nex almost feels like a free party trick without having to put in any effort at all. People who haven't heard about it are generally quite taken aback by the novelty. Alright, last question, official merchandise. So if you've been following on Instagram, you might have seen that I've been playing with a few ideas. Essentially, whatever it is that I end up releasing, I want it to be really good. I want it to be something people would want to use or wear, not just because it's got the brand, but also because it's a great product in its own right. So let me know if you guys have any bright ideas. I'll be hanging around in the comments after I post this video. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and nothing more to say apart from the fact that you're on this video and that you've made it this far through the video really means a lot to me, so I really appreciate the support from your end.
Okay, big shout out to LastPass for sponsoring this video. I have previously talked about them on a best apps video, so the fact that they wanted to sponsor some content is pretty great. For those of you who don't know, LastPass is a password manager, but much more than that. You create one master password, which can then be used to access not just every password you have for every site, but also all of your personal info. And what rounds this off is that LastPass then uses this to fill online forms in for you. So say for example you're shopping online, instead of entering your entire address and card details, you could just log into LastPass and that's it, it's done. So head over to lastpass.com, link is in the description below, or check out the Android or iOS application to get started. Thanks a lot for watching guys, I really appreciate it. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you guys next time.